Hey, it's Eric here at Peachtree Classic Cars with the 1966 Mustang Convertible. Gonna take her for a quick drive and show you around the car. I've actually got the top down this morning. Although it's a little bit chilly, but we've had the top down the whole time. We've had her. Nice, super straight steering. No wander in the steering at all. I just had the brakes redone, all 4 wheel cylinders redone, and she stops nice and straight. Now, one thing that can happen sometimes with these cars, so when you first get in it, and the first couple times you push the brake, wants to pull just a hair to the left, maybe just because it's new and needs to be adjusted again. After about 2 or 3 hits of the brakes, it stops perfectly straight every time. And sometimes that's just the little idiosyncrasies of owning an old car. Now, this is a mostly manual car. It does have a power top, but the thing that I love about these is they're just, the steering, I always felt like the steering was geared right on these Mustangs back in the day. Put it in reverse. Because even with the wider tires that I put on it, I just don't feel like it's hard to steer. Even when it's stopped, you don't know that it's not power steering. It's got a brand new Flowmaster exhaust. Just really nice, iconic sound of a Mustang. Smooth driving engine. I'm going to tell you the story on this car real quick. So 12 years ago, this car was completely restored from bumper to bumper. It wasn't frame off, although Mustangs don't really have a frame, but it wasn't frame off restored, but it was very nicely driver restored about 12 years ago. About 6 months after the restoration, the man who owned it passed away, and it sat in the garage for about 10 years. Got pulled out of the garage and gone through. So this engine, really low miles on the rebuild engine. Now, it wasn't rebuilt 6 months ago. It was rebuilt probably 12 years ago, but fresh fluids, full tune-up. And we've been driving this. My wife normally drives a Jeep. We sold it, and for about a week we didn't have a car, so Jennifer drove this Mustang, and just really nice. Love this car. Brass radiator, beautiful under the hood. All the little refurbished with the new stickers, and I left this alone. It looks so good in the original style. I didn't want to mess with it. Sometimes I do valve covers and air cleaner to make it look a little sportier, but it just looks so nice under the hood. It's not perfect. The shocks have a little bit of rust on them. Actually, I put brand new shocks on the back. The front shocks felt really good, so I left them alone, and I guess stuff like that could be wire wheeled and cleaned up, but under the hood, nice and clean. Haven't found any rust on the car, which is really nice. It's got some surface rust underneath it, but no rust. I would advertise this as a rust-free car as far as I can tell. So like I said, manual steering, manual brakes. Oh great, I got the trash man coming. And this is just a beautiful car. This is really, of all my cars, these are my favorite 65 and 66 Mustangs. Hold a special place in my heart. Aero straight body. Of course, the typical imperfections that came from the factory with, when you look at body lines and stuff on a Mustang, you're never looking for perfection because they weren't perfect from the factory. But this body is nice and straight. There's no rust bubbles. Really nice paint job. It's 12 years old, but it was parked in the garage. There's a couple of little spots when you get up on it. It has been driven. A couple of little paint chips. There's one tiny little one there. This is a C code, original 289. The guy I got it from said original matching numbers. I believe that's true. The 289 V8 in it is a 2-barrel. And the only modifications that are not from the factory on this car is it's got brand new wheels, American racing wheels and tires, and it's got a Flowmaster exhaust. Other than that, it's It's all original. These guys are usually picking up garbage at 7 a.m., but today they're picking it up at 1:20 in the afternoon. So, just waiting for these guys to get the heck out of here. Oh, great. Well, every once in a while I get an interruption in my video. So, like I said, restored 12 years ago, brand new interior, and the interior still appears like new. Waiting for this guy to head out. So, nice, beautiful dash, laid in correctly. All the gauges, every single gauge works, which is awesome. Very rarely do I get that. Aftermarket radio, it does work. It's just got the one speaker in the middle. The temperature works, the heater is hooked up and it does work as well. Rubber pony floor mats, which are nice. It had a brand new carpet kit in it when all the rest was installed. And of course, from being a convertible, these carpet kits don't take long to fade. If you wanted it to look perfect, you could dye it. Obviously, you could always put a brand new carpet kit in, but this one is like brand new. It's just a little bit faded, just right down the center of the hump, and that's not unusual. So just a little bit of vinyl dye actually can make it look brand new again. It's got seat belts in the front. I don't believe in the rear. Brand new tonneau cover. And I want to grab the keys and open up the trunk. It's also got a brand new top. And like I said, I mean, the guy went through and restored it completely. Spare tire. This really nice Kimberly-Clark top. You got your original spare tire. Somebody spent some money on this top right here. That goes with the car as well. Lift up underneath here, you can see it had a new tank put in. Beautiful underneath. I mean, there's no signs of rust. It was painted inside as well. I believe this to be the original color. I mean, you know, like I said, no rust on this car that I've seen anywhere. Where are we at in our video? 7 minutes. Oh, I want to leave the top on for the still photography. So you'll have to look at the still photographs to see. I want to leave the boot because it's a brand new boot. It actually took me some effort to get it on because it needs to stretch a little bit. Let's take a quick look up underneath the car. Like I said, surface rust is what I've seen. And I didn't want to get under here, and I almost had, when they were doing the mufflers and had it up on the rack, I almost had them just go ahead and do an underneath detail, and I decided against it. I never like it when I feel like, when I'm shopping for a vehicle and I see fresh undercoating, it can feel like somebody's, you know, hiding something. There, I said, we had a brake job. You can see brand new brake hoses there. Went ahead and did brand new brake hoses, brand new calipers. So anyways, no rust that I can see there. And I guess what I was saying was I didn't want to go blasting undercoating underneath it and then somebody say, hey, because I think a lot of guys do that, unfortunately. A lot of guys are undercoating so they can hide stuff. So here you go. This is the original floor pans. They're really good shape. All the way across. Brand new exhaust. Brand new rear adjustable Monroe springs, shocks, which I really like these shocks a lot. Like I said, this was probably a brand new gas tank when they did it, restoration. I'm gonna slide way up underneath here so you can see, because we're always looking for these trouble spots on these Mustangs, right? Look at how clean this is. Now that being what I said earlier, I'm going to say that being said, I think this car is worthy of having an undercarriage detail done. Because if you did that, it would be the final touch on making this a really sharp restoration. If you care about what it looks like up underneath, or if you live in a northern state and you want to protect it from rusting any, you know, ever rusting any further or getting any holes, you know, undercoating is a good thing. Nice and clean on this side as well. I may have found the only rust I can think of. Looks like there's 2 tiny little holes there. That is the only rust I've seen on the whole car. I mean, these rockers look awesome on both sides. Bottoms of the doors are in great shape. Open up the bottom. I mean, the bottoms of the doors look good. Well, there you have it. 1966 Mustang Convertible. And like I said, one of the things that I love about this is that we've been able to really drive it and enjoy it. And man, it's just a really great driving car, especially letting my wife be able to drive it. It's just a testimony to it being a very, very reliable. This is a needs absolute nothing car. It's completely, I'm going to call this a beautiful driver restoration. This is not a show car. There are imperfections. If you're looking for, you know, a $45,000 to $50,000 car, this is not it. But I'm not asking 45 to 50 grand for this. So finding these cars in the mid 20s is getting really, really hard, especially in this beautiful condition. This one's ready to go. I do also have the original wheels and hubcaps. If that interests you, we can always swap them out to the original wheels, or I could give you both sets if it interests you to have them. PeachtreeClassicCars.com.